Hi everyone. I'm here to do a couple of problems like you had on homework 4, that formative. A lot of you had problems with these two. You weren't really sure what to do. So I made some example problems like those to kind of give you another demonstration of what you should do for these two problems on the formative homework 4. Okay. So the first one, I'm going to zoom in a little bit, is asking you for a rule. It's asking you to go from the pre-image to the image. What math do you need to do to the x values and to the y values? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll just look at my x values. So for x, it went from 5, it did some math, and was 7 from here to here. Some kind of math happened, and went from 5 to 7. And then from here to here, it was 1. We did some math, and it was 3. And then we went from 0 to 2. So 0, we plus or minus something, and we got to 2. I want you to take a minute. I'm going to put a question in the formative about what math you think might be happening here to get from the pre-image x-coordinates to the image x-coordinates. All right. If you said add 2, add 2, add 2, you are absolutely correct. To go from the pre-image to the image, we had to add 2 to the x-coordinates. And for the y-coordinates, let's take a look at what's happening there. Let me scoot this over. We go from 3 to 0. So we go 3, something happens, and it equals 0. 1, something happens, it equals 1. Oh, sorry, 4, something happens, and it equals 1. And then 7, some sort of either addition or subtraction happens, and we go from 7 to 4. I'm going to give you a moment, and again in the Nearpod, I'm going to put up a question wondering what math, addition or subtraction, can get you from 3 to 0, 4 to 1, 7 to 4. If you said take away 3, you're 100% correct. If we take away 3 from all of those, we get from the y-coordinates in the pre-image to the y-coordinates in the image. That means our rule for this translation is when you go from x comma y, that's your pre-image, the rule is that you take x and you add 2. We had to add 2. And you take y and you have to subtract 3. Oops, sorry guys, you couldn't see that. So this is our rule, our algebraic rule. This is how you write it algebraically. Some of you were a little stuck too when it said write it algebraically. It just means to do x plus or minus something, y plus or minus something. Your pre-image, and then you do an arrow, and then your rule for your image. Here's another one that you guys had problems with. Here, we have a table that tells us what the points are for the pre-image. And then the image, we don't know what those points are, but we have a verbal rule. We don't have an algebraic rule. So the verbal rule says, find the coordinates of the image after a translation of right 2, down 3. So my original, I'm going to write my rule algebraically, is xy. My rule is to go right 2, what do you have to do to x? If you said add 2, you are 100% correct. To go right 2 is to add. If you were going left, it would be subtract. And then down 3, is that addition or subtraction with y? If you said subtraction, y minus 3, then you're 100% correct. Now I just have to apply that rule to these points. So my x prime, point x prime, is I have to add 2 to 3. X plus 2, 3 plus 2 is 5. 5 minus 3 is 2. 7 plus 2 is 9. 7 minus 3 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 8 minus 3 is 5. There you go.